Welcome back, students. We're going to finish activity 3 for module 2, topic 3, lesson 1. So we are on page 308. Let me see if I can do better on this thing here. Welcome, my magic students. Here we go. All right, we're going to use ratio tables. Oh, my pen's not working. We're going to using ratio tables and scaling to convert units, something we've done with ratios before, nothing different. It's just different ways to look at it. So let's look at a couple things. Like we said before, we can set this up as a proportion. We can set it up as a ratio as well. It's no big deal to it. If 1 pound is 16 ounces, how many is 2 pounds? If you want to do it the proportion way, you would set up 1 over 16 is equal to 2 over mystery. And you can do cross multiplication and division as you've done before. Or you could have done what we did with ratio tables, 1 times 2. Whatever you do to the numerator, you must also do to the denominator, 32. If you start 1 pound, now it's 2, it just doubled. I'll choose a different color. Let me try this cool gray. How did 1 become 1/4? You multiply by 1/4. So 6 times 1/4 is 4, which is already stated here. Let me change colors. Let's try green. So once again, how did 1 become 1 1/4? You multiplied by 1 1/4. So whatever we do to the numerator, we do to the denominator. Notice it's the constant pattern over and over. If you want to set that up as a proportion, 1 over 16 is equal to 1 1/4 over mystery. You can do your calculator. You can multiply that with the calculator. I would prefer you convert this to an improper fraction, but that's just me. Oops, where did I put my calculator? I'll show you how to do it by hand too, because I'm going to require a couple of y'all because you're all smart and amazing and you know how to do it. So, just for the sake, that'll be 4, that'll be 5 over 4. So that would be 20 if you didn't know. If you wanted to do this by hand, I'll write it in this cool blue. I would convert this term into an improper fraction. 1 times 4 plus 1 is 5 over 4. So the real problem is 1 over 16 equals 5 over 4. You know how to cross multiply and then divide by 1. You know how to multiply by fractions. So if you don't, here's a little reminder. 6 times 5 over 4. You would write it over 1 and do your math. And that would give you 20 over 1. We're going to do the same thing. Let's try red. How did 16 here? How did 1 become 1/2 times 1/2? That would make 8. So for the second table, number 2, it says complete the ratio table by converting between milliliters and liters. Understand this is a conversion table. A ratio table is another way to say that. I'm converting milliliters to liters. You always start with something that they give you or something they know. You can start with 100 to 0.1. You could have started with 50 to 0.05. You could have started with 1 and 0.01. I prefer that one. That one's actually very, very easy to do. Well, that's just me. So it is up to you how you want to do this. It's no biggie. So let's do it. I don't want to play with these numbers. I'm not going to lie to you. So I do know, what is it? 1 liters every, yeah. How did 100 become 1,000? You multiplied by 10. So same thing here. I hear this weird sound in my room. It's sort of scaring me. Hopefully it's not a ghost or something. And that becomes 1. I'm not sure if y'all hear it in the background, but it's creeping me out. Okay, so once again, let's do the next term. Let's write green. I keep hearing it, y'all. It's scaring me. Really creeped out. Anyway, so how did 1... Let's do this one. How did 1 become 575? Well, I multiplied by 575. Oops. So it'll be 575. And I'll give you 0.575. Now, I know some of you are like, I don't know how these other numbers came out to be, because there I can see your questions coming up. You can do this. Don't forget how to do it. So let's do it. Now, how did 0.05 become 0.5? Well, if you don't know how to do that on top of your head, you don't see the number, all you have to do is divide them to see it. There's nothing else to it, so don't be freaking out. So I don't know the exact number. Well, I do, but I'm not going to tell you. So in order to figure that out, we'll just do 0.05 divided by 0.5. And that would give me 0.1. So I must multiply by 0.1. Whatever I do to the denominator, I will do to the numerator, 0.1. Oops, put it in the calculator wrong. Then I'm going to jack it up. So it'll be 5. We just repeat the process. Let me choose a different color, like this cool blue. So how did 0.001 get to 0.01? Do the same thing if you need to, unless you know what it is. Because it's the same thing. You multiply by 0.01. Good, sir. Oh, 0.1. I messed that number up. Yes, sir. Definitely messed that number up. I had to multiply this thing by 0.1. So that'd be 0.1. Because 1 times that. Ooh, that was a crazy table. But notice that's the same thing as any other ratio table. The scaling up, scaling down. If you don't like doing it this way, which Mr. Christian finds it easy to do it this way, but sometimes it's a little ugly, I'd rather just do proportions. Proportions will always be right. It's easier to do it that way without thinking too hard. That way you just set up and do your math, but that's just me. That concludes page 308. We will be moving on to page 309, Magic students. 309. This is actually quite important, especially when you get to your high school years. You start seeing unit conversions and unit changes, which we're doing now. Unit conversions, a very basic form of it, but we're going to talk about the actual mathematics with units. That's probably the biggest thing to talk about. The math will not change. It's looking at it different ways. So let's make a little note here. I noticed it says take note, and it has all of these conversions. Notice the squigglies means approximate. They are approximations of conversion. So we're going to look through this worked example because I want to make sure you see something, all right? You can scale up to determine how many kilograms are in 2.5 pounds. Because you want to determine the number of kilograms for a specific number of pounds, use the conversion rate 1 pound is equal to 0.5 kilograms. The other way to write it as a fraction is 1 pound over 0.45 kilograms, which is common to write. So let's just look at the math, see what they did. They said 1 pound, 0.45 kilograms. They said that's equal to 2.5 pounds over so many kilograms. So they're trying to convert it. They're saying 1 pound is 0.45, and I want to know how much is 2.5. That's what you're after. I want to figure out how much is 2.5 pounds. So you could set up as proportion. Yes, you could cross multiply and then divide. That is perfectly fine. You can do it as a ratio. You figure out 1 times 2.5. That's another way to do it. Same way we learned before. Whatever you do to the numerator, you must do to the denominator. Those are just different things. But what I want you to pay attention to is pretty much the units, which we're going to see down here. We're not going to do number 3. We're going to cross that out right here. Bye-bye, number 3. We're on number 4. So I just wanted to make sure I worked with that example with you. So we're going to look at number 4. And we're going to start looking at these different unit conversions soon. I might be mixing it up. It might be an activity 4. Let's see. It's probably activity 4, y'all. You do so much math all day, and then you'd be like, oh, starting to mix up. The school cafeteria has 8 huge cans of tomato sauce. So I have 8 cans of tomato sauce. Each can contains 2 gallons of sauce. Is there more or less, I'll change these colors, more or less than 50 liters of sauce in these 8 cans? So let's think about it. First of all, there's 2 gallons of sauce. All right, you got 8 cans. Let's write what we know. There are 2 gallons. Oh, I'm sorry. Each can is 2 gallons. Each can is 2 gallons. So what do I know? For every 1 can, there are 2 gallons of sauce. Oh, look, I just found out my unit conversion. So every 1 can is 2 gallons of sauce. I want to know, is there 50 liters? Is there more or less than 50 liters of cans and 8 cans? So this is equal to 8 cans. How many gallons? Notice the question asked you liters. You must pay attention. Reading is the most important thing here. I know a lot of you are saying English, but deal with it. We got to do it. So the key thing is liters. This is key word. They want liters. What unit do they give me? Gallons. I'm going to have to do some unit conversion. So I need to solve for this. Obviously, 1 times 8. So 2 times 8. And that will give me 16 gallons. I want 50 liters. So how many gallons make a liter is the important thing. So how many gallons make a liter? I believe, what was it? Go back here. How many gallons make a liter? 3.79. For every 1 gallon, there's equal to 3.79 liters, approximately, I should say. Approximately. So notice we have 2 gallons. Okay. Actually 16. We have 16 gallons. So we have 16 gallons. What do I need to do here? What was it? Right here. So I need to convert this to liters, right? That's right. So 16 gallons. So that means I need to write. Sorry, my pen is being weird for a second. Why is it being weird? Come on, work for me. Okay, it's working now. All right, so 1 gallon. Let me write a different color. Red, here we go. So I want 1 gallon, and that's 3.79 liters. What I need to do with these two numbers? Just multiply. That's all you gotta do. Just multiply the two, because you're converting gallons to liters. So it's gonna be 16 times 3.79. And that gives me 60.64. I probably shouldn't write an equal here because it's not a proportion. But you have to understand you're converting that. 60.64 liters. So is 60.64 bigger than 50? Yes. You have more. All right, number 5. Yeah, I think it's an activity 4. It's a lot more details of math units. I'm probably mixing up with 3. All right, Tyrone, the quarterback for the Tigers football team, can throw a football 40 meters. Jason, the quarterback. Oh, let me highlight that. That's Tyrone. And let's do a different color. Jason, the quarterback for the Spartans, can throw 45 yards. Notice 2 different units, meters, yards, meters, yards, meters, yards. They need to be the same unit if you want to compare. Who can throw farther? How do you know? Well, we got to convert units in order to figure that out. So I know every 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. So what about meters, though? I forgot about my meters. What does my little chart say about meters? I know 1 yard is every 3 feet. I forgot my meters one. Isn't it 1 meter? 1 meter is equal to 3.28 feet. If you're wondering how I got that, it is up here. Where is it? 1 meter is 3.28 feet. It's also 1.09 yards. I didn't even notice that one. It's 1.09 yards. That's probably easier to do. 1 meter is equal to 1.09 yards. So it's probably easier if I do it that way. So I'd rather convert the meters to yards. That way I can compare them. So let's compare that. This is Tyrone's. I like my stuff labeled. I'm going to take you points off if you do not label information. 1 meter is 1.09 yards. We have 40 meters, and I don't know how many yards. You could set it up 1 times 40. What do you do to the numerator? You do to the denominator. So come on, calculator. 40 times 1.09, 43.06. So the answer is 43.06 yards. So now we have to ask our question. Let me change colors. That's 43.06 yards for Tyrone and 45 yards for Jason. Who threw the furthest? It would be Jason. All right. That finishes page activity 3. I mean 309 or 30. Yeah, 309. That was right. It's a little early, y'all. So let's move on. All right, we're going to do these 3 problems here. It's a little bit of mathy math, but we got it. Molly says that she is 1.5 meters tall. Shauna is 5 feet tall. Molly says that she is taller, but Shauna disagrees. Who is correct? So once again, those units is important. 1 meter is equal to 3.28 feet. So I like my stuff labeled. If you do not label, Mr. Christian will mark you off. He will not give you credit. He's a stickler for labeling. You have to be organized. 1 meter is 3.28 feet. Because I need to convert these. I see a meter and I see feet. They need to be the same units. So what I want to do is I pretty much want to convert this into, what's it? 1.5 meters? Oh, yeah. Oh, never mind. Before we get into that, let me see. 1.5 meters. And I don't know how many feet. I want to convert it to feet, and then I can compare them and see who is taller. That's what I plan to do. Shauna, let me label right here. She's already 5 feet tall. I don't have to do any math for her. I'm comparing it in feet. Those are the units I choose to compare to. If you need to write it there, then write it. Convert to feet. Could I convert to meters? Absolutely, but I'd rather just convert to feet. It's easier. So how did 1 become 1.5? You multiply by 1.5, or you could cross multiply and divide. That is totally up to you. 3.28 times 1.5 is 4.92. So our question is, who is taller? Is it Shauna or Molly? Looks like it's Shauna. Shauna is taller. Yes, write in a complete sentence. It also stated explain your reasoning. Notice a lot of you are not explaining on your test, and I have to mark you off. And that's what's going to happen around April when we take our big test. Shauna is taller. Why is she taller? Because Molly is 4.92 feet, and Shauna is 5 feet. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Don't be crazy, computer. So if you have all this typed into your Edulastic on your big test, this is your work. This is your explanation. You need to have that there. If it's not labeled, we don't read it. Larry weighs 110 pounds. Casey weighs 98 pounds. So notice the units are the same. That's great. Pounds, pounds. We do recognize that. Sean weighs 52 kilograms. Notice a different unit, 52 kilograms. And Jamal weighs 52 kilograms. Oh, that's a lot of you there. Place the boys in order from least to greatest using pounds and kilograms. Oh, that's a lot of work. Come on now. Using pounds and kilograms, we're going to just do part of that. That's too much. All right, here we go. So you need to decide if you want to convert to pounds or kilograms to order them. It's very easy to do. But first things first, we need to understand that 1 pound is equal to 0.45 kilograms. We need to know that. That's why you have your little cheat sheet. 1 pound is equal to 0.45 kilograms. So we're going to label everybody. So let's figure out what we want to convert to. I think I want to convert to kilograms because it seems easier to me. That's just me. Maybe I should convert it to pounds instead. I don't know. Okay, let's set it up first and see. So let's label our information. Let's write Sean. Sean, every 1 pound is equal to 0.45 kilograms. What do I know about Larry, or not Larry, Sean? He's 42 kilograms. Yeah, I'd just rather convert to pounds. I don't know how many pounds that is. I like to set up my information first, what they give me, and then do my math. That'll be my usual typical conversion. So to do that math is straightforward. You could cross multiply and divide, or you could figure out how did 0.45 become 42. Mr. Christian prefer to just cross multiply and divide. So 1 times 42 is 42. 42 divided by 0.45 is 93.3 repeating. So that's 93.3 pounds. So I'm going to use pounds. Let's do Jamal. Once again, we set it up. 1 pound, 0.45 kg. We don't know how many pounds. We do know he's 52 kilograms. We can do the same thing, the math, cross, multiply, and divide. So that'll be 1.15 repeating. I did that right? Yeah, I did that right. Okay, thought I was going crazy for a minute. Pounds. All right, so now we just organize them from smallest to largest. So let's look. I like to change colors. Let's try this cool red. So Larry is 110. Casey's 98. Sean is 93. It looks like Jamal's the shortest. Unless I typed it in wrong. What does that say? 52? Yeah, he's 52 kilograms, right? Oh, oops, I typed that in wrong. 115. 115. Oops. Mr. Christian's a little crazy. He forgot that he typed it in wrong. We fixed that right there. So that's 115.5 repeating pounds. Apologies, y'all. So it looks like not the shortest, but the least weight would be Sean. Sean. The next one, who's after 93, it would be Casey. And then it would be Larry. And then Jamal. That would be it. Their weight, we can write the weights next to them, but I think it's pretty self-explanatory if you wrote it the order or stated it in a sentence. This is your work. This is your answer. I'm not going to write all those words. I wouldn't make y'all do that. That's a lot. But yes, notice this is a setup that's important first. If you're worried about which unit to convert to, set it up first, and then we can decide. Or you can decide at the beginning. It's up to you. Karen has a gold bracelet that weighs 24 grams. That's Karen. She wants to sell the bracelet, but she needs a minimum of 1 ounce of gold to sell it. I see my unit, ounce. I see grams. Can Karen sell her bracelet? Why or why not? I want you to pause the video and try out number 8 on your own real quick. I'm going to do it in a second. I want to see what you can do. If you're confused, that's okay. Just try it out. So please pause the video and try out number 8 on your own. All right, so I'm going to start it. So 1 ounce. I don't like that. It looks like 10 ounces. No. 1 ounce is about 28.35 grams. How do I know that? Because it's on my cheat sheet from the last page. So I know this is true. 1 ounce is 28.35 grams. And notice that's already smaller. So I have 24 grams. But okay, let's just do this math and see. So 24 grams. They said they need at minimum 1 ounce. 28 is already bigger than 24. So that's definitely already not going to work because I need at least 1 ounce. Do y'all see that? Hopefully, because that's not going to work. It has to be bigger than that to see if I even have an answer. So I'm already going to write no because 1 ounce is approximately 28.35 grams. And her bracelet only weighs 24 grams. Which is less than an ounce. Okay, that was actually a lot easier than I thought it was going to be, to be honest with you. So that was pretty straightforward. All right, so that concludes activity 3. Activity 4, we'll talk about the unit. What I wanted to show is the unit analysis. But activity 3, that's pretty straightforward. Notice a lot of ratios, table setups, proportions. There's many ways to think about it. So you're just converting from one unit to another and then comparing them is the overall goal. All right, I'll see you on the next video, amazing ones.